He'd said something into the mic and just threw it down and walked off stage. Axl didn't want to be outdone, and that's when all hell broke loose.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the musicians that have historically been the hardest to work for and with.
Don't like each other, man.
Number 20, Morrissey. Based on his outspoken nature, it probably comes as no surprise that he'd be difficult to collaborate with.
Always been outspoken?
No, I'm not outspoken at all. I'm really not.
You're strongly opinionated.
Well, I'm just an ordinary person in many ways. I just speak the words of ordinary people.
His petulant behaviour was apparent back when the Smiths were still on the rise, including banning the usage of his government name in 1983. It escalated from there, even banning his bandmates from being seen eating meat. Eventually, his inability to compromise musically and his jealousy over members collaborating with other artists led to the band dissolving in 1987, with no chance of reuniting. Since then, he hasn't become any easier to work for.
I'm just me. And I'm not flash, and I don't want to be part of the rock industry. And so therefore, I think the rock industry just can't deal with people like that.
Between demanding that events he perform at offer only vegan options, to his ex-manager coming forward about how hard he is to deal with, it seems that the problem has worsened with age. Number 19, David Ruffin. The Temptations were pivotal in the world of R&B, yet their enjoyment of that success was dulled thanks to David Ruffin.
What can make me feel this way? It's my girl, my girl, my girl.
As the leader on several of their biggest hits, the popularity quickly went to his head. He became dependent on cocaine and missed both rehearsals and performances as a result. He also insisted on traveling separately from the band, opting to stay in a custom-made limo. To top it all off, he insisted that their name be changed to spotlight his own. His behavior became so egregious that he was kicked out in 1968, which didn't stop him from crashing their shows.
Well, the headline said I was fired, but I don't see how you could fire someone out of a group of that magnitude. I just think that was time for a change, and life lands a crushing blow sometimes. Yeah.
Even when Ruffin was offered another chance, he squandered it by showing up late, proving that old habits die hard. Number 18, Captain Beefheart. You'd think a group known for absurdism would be all fun and games. For some of the members of Captain Beefheart's magic band, it was anything but. During the recording of Trout Mask Replica, their leader, also known as Van Vliet, revealed his dictatorial tendencies. He yelled at the others for hours on end before they finally broke down. He also limited their food intake and even banned them from leaving their recording space.
It was terrible, and we were just always hungry and always tired. I felt exhausted all the time.
The abuse wasn't only emotional. Their drummer, John French, revealed in 2010 that he was beaten and thrown into walls if he didn't play fast enough. He even recalled being thrown down the stairs by Vliet following the album's completion, luckily ending his time with them before he was killed. Number 17, Bobby Brown. Sometimes it takes aging to realise how difficult one was in their youth. Before embarking on his solo career, Bobby Brown was a founding member of the boy band New Edition. It wasn't long before things went awry. Allegedly, he felt that too much of the attention was being given to Ralph Tresvant, leading to Brown acting out during performances in order to differentiate himself. He also took on a seductive manner in his performances, stressing out their management team in the process. He even confessed to showing up late or not at all to certain events.
In certain occasions, I would not show up at all or show up late and go out there, do what I do, and not care about what anybody else thought.
The group ended up reuniting for a tour in 2022, leading to Brown seriously reflecting on his actions as a young man, and even admitting that he was wrong. Number 16, Jennifer Lopez. Some of these artists' reputation may come as a surprise, but others are entirely expected.
My only problem is their insecurity.
Jennifer Lopez's alleged mistreatment of her staff has been circulated for some time, with the musician reportedly having several rules for them to follow at all times, from not allowing her staff to make eye contact to forcing them to speak to service workers for her. It's clear what she thinks of those that she deems below her. She's even been known to fire people for ridiculous reasons, including their astrological signs or for asking for an autograph.
And I don't know where that
started, you know, and that was...
That you're difficult.
That was, you know, like I'm demanding and difficult and a bit of a diva. Like, I don't, you know, I like getting dressed up and stuff like that. But other than that, I don't have outrageous demands.
Okay, well, you know...
She may claim to be Jenny from the block, but it's clear that she stopped identifying with everyday people long ago. Number 15, Justin Bieber. Becoming famous at a young age often means growing up with a skewed sense of the world. This was the case for Justin Bieber, who's been rumoured to have extensive tour requirements. His requests for a 2017 Mumbai performance were particularly egregious, with an alleged leak rider revealing them. They ranged from refusing to use the roads and insisting that air travel be left on standby, to having his team fly a ping pong table there. Should the rumours be true, it would confirm that he wasn't afraid to use his star power to get what he wanted. It doesn't just end at valuable items. A stint down the wrong path in his early 20s led to several personal and legal issues that impacted his career. Number 14, Ozzy Osbourne. Well, that's one way to end an important meeting. It was clear from the very beginning of Ozzy Osbourne's career that he wouldn't be a traditional client. During his Black Sabbath years, his inability to curb his drug use led to continued friction between them until he finally split ways with them in 1979. His outlandish behaviour didn't stop there. When he signed his first solo deal in 1981, he commemorated the moment by biting the head off of a dove.
There was a pigeon there, so I thought, well, nothing else, bite the pigeon. I mean, the pigeon didn't mind, man, because he had no choice, you know? Yeah.
That same year, he reportedly urinated in an executive's wine. He even drunkenly fired members of his band in 1982 following their refusal to perform Black Sabbath pieces. His talent is undeniable, but it's clear that substances make him a nightmare to work with. Number 13, Nicki Minaj. It makes sense that a performer known for her highly publicized fights wouldn't be the best employer. Dating back to the 2010s, Nicki Minaj has shown little regard for those that she collaborates with. During her tenure on American Idol, she had a long-standing feud with Mariah Carey, who claimed to increase her security team in response.
Excuse me, the music will cut me off if I can. May I express this too?
Minaj's temper has reportedly been inflicted on employees too, such as in a 2011 incident where she screamed at a facialist after they didn't do her eyebrows to her liking. In 2024, an ex-employee on the Pink Friday 2 tour filed a lawsuit claiming that she'd hit him several times. While the exact details have yet to be confirmed, it's clear that this has been a pattern for her.
If you could turn back time, share. You used to be here, now you're gone, near.
Number 12, Van Morrison. A person being immensely talented doesn't mean that they'll be the best employer. As a musician, Van Morrison's legacy is set in stone.
And I must remember there'll be days like this.
Yet, his disillusionment for fame has resulted in him continuously acting out over the years. He's been known to be combative towards those interviewing him, both by being dismissive in several of his answers and by interrupting journalists to hound them for their accreditation. He wasn't just cross with those outside his bubble, it seems.
Well, because I just got fed up with the whole scene, the whole situation.
He's also been known to suddenly fire members of his band with little to no warning, making every day of working for him a proverbial landmine to navigate. Number 11, Madonna. Would anyone expect anything different from one of pop's biggest divas? Throughout her career, Madonna's been known for both her talent and controversy, the latter being evidenced by her history as an employer. Some have asserted she charged performers $100 for every minute they were late, while others have alleged to not being fully paid. The most damning incident was 3 dancers suing her following the release of Madonna, Truth or Dare, a documentary about the 1990 Blonde Ambition tour. They claimed to have been exploited and their privacy invaded, to which the star apparently told them to get over it.
We've been pursuing this action for quite some time with Madonna personally and through contacting her lawyers, her firms, and the response has been either no response or a runaround or a very negative response.
It was settled in 1994, but jokes Madonna made revealed how little she cared. That behaviour is unacceptable, no matter how many bops you have. Number 10. Eagles. By the late 70s, the Eagles were as legendary for their internal conflicts as they were for keeping it mellow and taking it easy.
Welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place.
Much, if not all, the power in the band was held by Glenn Frey and Don Henley, and this translated into conflict for lead guitarist Don Felder, especially with Frey. At a concert in July 1980, the tension came to a head, with Frey taking offense to a comment Felder made backstage, threatening him with physical violence throughout the show, and effectively ending the band soon after. Regrouping in the 90s, old tensions came back, now motivated by contractual and legal matters, which resulted in Felder's eventual dismissal.
There was an incredible amount of talent together in that band, but there was a struggle for what songs were going to go on the record, what lyrics were going to go on the record, who was going to sing, one thing or
What
another.
made the band so great gave it its problems.
That's right.
Number 9. Young Thug. Atlanta rapper Young Thug has become notorious for not being where he's supposed to be.
Money on money, these millions, you dig? I'm spending this shit on my bitch and my kids.
He had a lawsuit filed against him for no shows, most notably non-concerts in Texas and New York in 2016, the latter of which triggered a $360,000 lawsuit. Thug also, famously, declined to take part in his own video, leaving its director to creatively work around his absence and include the few ideas that Thug presented.
Okay, my money way longer than a NASCAR race.
The rapper does briefly appear in his Wyclef Jean video, but only in footage he supplied himself, as he refused to get out of his car after arriving on set 10 hours late. Number 8. Eddie Van Halen. Friction, like whammy bar dive bombs and tapping, have long been a Van Halen mainstay. Aside from bouts of alcoholism, guitarist Edward Van Halen is known for bad-mouthing other band members. On-off lead singer David Lee Roth said Ed had a completely different creative vision than himself, with Roth preferring poppier material. This rift was enough for EVH to construct his own recording studio and make music with minimal input of other band members. Roth's former replacement Sammy Hagar has also been open about the difficulties and lack of chemistry with Ed, while ousted original bass player Michael Anthony has been characteristically mum about it.
I was thrown out, I was stabbed in the back and left for dead, and it wasn't, you just can't go back and hug and kiss those kind of people.
Number 7. Gene Simmons. It's no surprise why Gene Simmons is known as the Demon. Best known as the bassist and occasional vocalist with Kiss, Simmons is also widely known for his right-wing political views, infamous womanizing, and obnoxious language. His infamous ego, meanwhile, makes people so frustrated that they shy away from being around him. Wife Shannon Tweed, for example.
I was just joking because she's a comedian.
Here, these back on, it suits you.
Thanks for the question.
She walked out during interviews to avoid listening to him speak, while NPR interviewer Terry Gross has described him as nothing more than obnoxious. Long story short, on stage or off, Simmons isn't the most fun to be around. Number 6. Mariah Carey. The OG of pop divas, singer Mariah Carey is infamous for her unusual demands and nitpicky attitude. Regarding her cameo in The House, comedian Rob Hubel described her as impossible to work with, saying Carey made a huge fuss about not wanting to sing the song that she was paid to, and also not wanting her character to get killed by bullets, but instead deflect bullets like Wonder Woman. Elsewhere, her famous feud with fellow American Idol judge Nicki Minaj resulted in Carey not returning to the program. Carey expected to be the sole female judge and was threatened by Minaj's addition, and the two clashed on and off camera.
Somebody's gonna go to the corner. We gotta get through this show, okay, girls?
Number 5. Roger Waters. Some people can't handle giving up their perceived power. After Syd Barrett's sudden exit from Pink Floyd, Roger Waters took it upon himself to lead them artistically.
All in all, it's just another brick in the wall.
This meant turning away from their psychedelic era and instead forming them into something more political. He helmed their musical output, taking more creative control with each album. This led to him butting heads with the other members, and eventually their disagreements led to him parting ways. However, his desire for control didn't end there. He took his former bandmates to high court, insisting that they should break up and not perform under their name. While he's regretted his behaviour in recent years, it nearly led to the end of one of England's most iconic groups.
I don't try to investigate them too much, you know. It would feel a little bit like investigating a butterfly. You end up with dust and a few broken bits.
Number 4, Noel and Liam Gallagher. Oasis's front siblings are infamous for their inability to get along and have settled disputes by throwing fruit, using instruments as weapons, filing lawsuits, and generally harassing each other.
But don't look back in anger, I heard you say.
This tumultuous work environment eventually led to Noel leaving the band in 2009 and Oasis folding following a last-minute cancelled appearance at the V Festival in Chelmsford, England. But it's not just a sibling rivalry, as aside from the brothers, no original band members made it to the end of the ride. The band's first drummer, Tony McCarroll, meanwhile, claimed to have been shafted on royalties, equipment funds, and fired due to personality conflicts with the Gallaghers.
I really didn't wish it had to go that far. I mean, best and worst time in your lives, really.
Number 3, Kanye West. Kanye is legendary for his inflated ego and mistreatment of others. A former bodyguard said it was easier to look after West's daughter than the rapper himself.
Always find something wrong. You've been putting up with much, it's just way too long.
His toddler-like attitude also made him a burden on the set of Anchorman 2, with West blasting his music on set, refusing to turn it down for filming, showing up on days that he wasn't scheduled to perform, and refusing to leave.
The most requested video of the day, a new band called Burgundy Sucking Chest Wound.
Other ventures are also a complicated affair with West's involvement, as it took 2 years for designer Jean Twitou to create only 3 items for one of the rapper's clothing collections because Kanye couldn't make up his mind. Number 2, Syd Barrett. Pink Floyd's original band leader was often as baffling as the band's early material.
We don't need it very loud to be able to hear it, and with some of it is very quiet, in fact. Right. Personally, I like quiet music just as much as loud music.
A life complicated by schizophrenia and rampant drug use caused him to become an unreliable and difficult person to work with. Prior to parting ways, Barrett would often seemingly forget songs or stare into the stage lights and detune his guitar while the band attempted to play around him. During a rehearsal, Barrett trolled the group with an ever-changing composition called Have You Got It Yet?, which predictably they did not.
It was very sad, and he sort of drifted away from the reality of the rest of our lives.
Due to his unpredictable nature, David Gilmour was brought into the fold as a support guitarist and vocalist, and ultimately Syd's replacement. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Axl Rose. On a number of occasions, Rose has provoked fans to riot, so it's hard to imagine him respecting the people he works with, from Steven Adler to Slash.
Basically, it was just that I'm done.
Rose is notorious for being flaky, having once showed up late to a concert because he was watching Ninja Turtles 2, and his antics were partly to blame for the 1992 riot in Montreal. With the release of the long-discussed, much-delayed Chinese Democracy, Rose stopped answering requests and phone calls by his record label, failed to contribute to the promotion of the album, and was later sued by former band manager Irving Azoff for unpaid fees. Which musician do you think would be a nightmare to work with? Let us know in the comments below.
It's been a real struggle. It's been a lot of ups and downs.